The morning sky was clear blue when the spaceships appeared. Diane Miller had been working the night shift at the observatory when her computer started beeping. At first, she thought it was a system error. The objects approaching Earth were too big, too fast, and too many. "This can't be right," she whispered, adjusting her glasses. But the numbers didn't lie. Something massive was entering Earth's orbit. Diane reached for her phone with shaking hands and called her boss. Within an hour, every major space agency was looking at the same data. By noon, the alien ships were visible to the naked eye, dark shapes blotting out the sun. In his farmhouse in rural Ohio, Jack Harmon watched the news with narrowed eyes. The retired Marine colonel immediately noticed what others missed. The aliens were positioning their ships in a standard invasion formation. They were treating Earth like any other conquest. "Amateurs," Jack muttered, reaching for his old military phone. He still had contacts in high places. The President of the United States, Alan Garrett, was rushed to a secure bunker beneath the White House. Reports flooded in from around the world as alien ships positioned themselves over major cities. The Joint Chiefs looked grim. "Mr. President, we need to consider all options," said General Frank Wilson, his face pale. Before President Garrett could respond, every screen in the room flickered. The broadcast being shown across the globe appeared on their monitors. A creature with gray-blue skin and 4 eyes looked into the camera. "People of Earth," the alien said in perfect English, "I am Ambassador Zax Thor of the Krell Dominion. Your planet is now under our protection and control. Resistance will result in demonstration strikes. Surrender, and you may continue your lives under our guidance." In cities worldwide, people stared at their phones and television screens in horror. Some ran, clogging streets and highways. Others stood frozen, looking up at the massive ships hovering overhead. Diane Miller was still at the observatory, now surrounded by military personnel. Her data was the best they had on the alien ships. "The lead vessel is approximately 2 miles long," she explained to a group of officers. "Their technology is like nothing we've seen. But there's something odd about their approach." "What do you mean?" asked Air Force Captain Rand Bell. "They're treating us like we're predictable," Diane said. "Like they've done this before and expect us to follow a script." At the farmhouse, Jack Harmon was already loading supplies into his truck. His neighbor, Bill Freeman, ran over with his teenage son. "Jack, did you see the news? What do we do?" Bill's voice was high with panic. Jack closed the truck's tailgate. "We do what Americans have always done when invaded. We fight smart, not just hard." "But they're aliens," Bill protested, "with spaceships and who knows what kinds of weapons. And they've made their first mistake," Jack said calmly. "They shown their hand too early. Should have sent scouts first. Learned our ways. Instead, they're following a playbook." In Washington, President Garrett connected with world leaders in an emergency video conference. The Chinese president, Russian president, and others all reported alien ships over their territories. "We must present a united human front," Garrett said firmly. "This is no longer about nations. It's about species survival." The room shook as the first alien weapon hit a military base in Nevada. Dust fell from the ceiling. "Sir," a general reported, "they've taken out our Western Command Center. No nuclear response possible from that location." Garrett looked at the screens showing different world leaders. "Ladies and gentlemen, humanity is at war. But the Krell have no idea who they're dealing with. They expect surrender." He paused. "What they'll get is humanity's full ingenuity and determination." As night fell across America, the first wave of alien troops landed. They expected an easy conquest based on their experiences with other worlds. They had no idea that humans had been imagining this scenario for centuries, that every child had grown up on stories of alien invasions and how to fight back. They had no idea what was coming. The next morning, Lieutenant Olivia Peterson stood on the bridge of the U.S. Defender, her hands gripping the rail as she watched the alien ships through the viewport. Her vessel was one of 20 Navy ships ordered to engage the Krell forces off the East Coast. "Weapons ready, ma'am," her weapons officer reported. Olivia took a deep breath. Fire. Missiles streaked across the sky toward the nearest Krell ship. They hit their target but exploded harmlessly against a blue energy shield. The alien vessel didn't even move. "Again," Olivia ordered, her voice steady despite the fear in her stomach. Before they could fire a second volley, green beams shot from the Krell ship. 3 Navy vessels exploded instantly. The U.S. Defender rocked violently as a near miss hit the water beside them. "Evasive maneuvers," Olivia shouted above the alarms. Similar scenes played out across the globe. Human military forces launched everything they had at the invaders. Fighter jets, tanks, and missiles attacked Krell positions, but nothing penetrated their shields. By sunset, most of Earth's organized military response lay in ruins. In an underground laboratory beneath Denver, scientist Sam Rivera examined a piece of debris from a downed Krell scout ship. It was the first alien technology they'd managed to recover. "The material is like nothing I've seen," he told the group of scientists and military personnel gathered around him. "But it's not magic. It's science. We can figure this out." A general scoffed. "Figure it out faster, Dr. Rivera. We're losing this war." Sam looked up sharply. "Wars aren't just won with better weapons. They're won with better information." At his farmhouse, now serving as a makeshift command center, Jack Harmon gathered his neighbors. 20 people crowded his living room, their faces scared but determined. "The Krell have taken control of the cities," Jack told them, pointing to a paper map spread on his dining table. "But they're ignoring rural areas. That's their mistake." "What can we possibly do against those ships?" asked Mary Daniels, a high school teacher. Jack smiled grimly. "We don't fight the ships. We study the enemy, learn their patterns, look for weaknesses." In what remained of the White House, President Garrett received reports from around the country. Government communications were compromised, and he had to rely on old radio systems and human messengers. "The Krell have established bases in these locations," his intelligence officer said, marking spots on a map. "They're taking people. We don't know why." Garrett's face was grim. "Any good news?" "Some. Small resistance groups are forming everywhere. And we've had unexpected successes against their ground troops. They don't seem prepared for guerrilla tactics." On the U.S. Defender, now hiding in a coastal inlet, Olivia Peterson studied data from their brief engagement. Something wasn't adding up. "Look at these energy readings," she told her executive officer. "Their weapons are powerful, but their communication systems operate on simple frequencies, almost like radio waves." "What good does that do us?" he asked. "Maybe we can't shoot them down yet, but we might be able to listen in, maybe even disrupt their communications." In his laboratory, Sam Rivera made a discovery. He had exposed Krell technology to various Earth elements. When he introduced certain bacteria, the alien material began to deteriorate. "They've never been exposed to Earth's microbial life," he whispered in shock. "Their biology has no defense against it." Across the country, people were learning to survive under occupation. Some cooperated with the Krell, but many more watched and waited. They shared information through whispers and notes. They observed Krell patrol patterns and behaviors. Jack Harmon's group successfully ambushed a Krell scout party. They captured equipment and one injured alien. As Jack approached the creature, it spoke in a translator device. "You fight differently than expected," the Krell said, its 4 eyes blinking rapidly. The Dominion reports indicated minimal resistance capabilities. Jack leaned closer. "Then your reports were wrong. Humans don't surrender easily, and we're just getting started." The alien's expression was unreadable, but something like worry flashed in its eyes. For the first time since the invasion began, Jack felt a spark of hope. 2 weeks after the invasion, Sam Rivera barely slept. His laboratory had moved 3 times to stay ahead of Krell patrols. Now they worked in an abandoned mine shaft, using equipment salvaged from universities and hospitals. "I need to show you something," Sam told his team, carefully placing a petri dish under a microscope. "This is what happens when common soil bacteria touch Krell skin cells." On the screen, they watched as the alien cells quickly broke down. "They have no immunity to Earth bacteria," a young scientist gasped. Sam nodded. "Their world must be very different from ours. They've never evolved defenses against our microbes." He held up a small canister. "This contains a concentrated form of bacteria that's harmless to humans, but deadly to Krell. If we can deliver this to their living quarters." Across the country, Olivia Peterson worked on a different discovery. The U.S. Defender remained hidden, but its communication equipment was still functional. Olivia and her team had been listening to Krell transmissions. "The pattern repeats," she explained to her officers, pointing to a screen displaying signal waves. "If we broadcast on this exact frequency with the right pattern, we might disrupt their communications. Or better yet," her communications officer suggested, "we could feed them false information." In Washington, D.C., a CIA analyst named Eric Summers had made his way to a resistance safe house. He carried valuable intelligence. "The Krell invasion force is smaller than we thought," he told the resistance leaders. "Based on surveillance and intercepts, I estimate fewer than 50,000 Krell soldiers on Earth." "That's still a lot considering their technology," someone said. Eric shook his head. "Not for controlling an entire planet of 8 billion people. They were counting on shock and awe. They expected us to surrender without much fight." Outside Chicago, Jack Harmon's resistance group had grown. They'd captured more Krell equipment and turned an old factory into their base. The Krell prisoner they'd taken was kept isolated but treated well. "Why did you come to Earth?" Jack asked the alien during one interrogation. The Krell, who called himself Grek, answered reluctantly. "Resources. Living space. Your world is valuable. There must be other planets. None so suitable that weren't already claimed by more dangerous species." Jack leaned forward. "More dangerous than humans." Grek made a sound that might have been laughter. "You were supposed to be easy. Primitive. Divided." News traveled slowly between resistance groups, but it traveled. Old radio sets, paper messages, and trusted couriers connected scattered human forces. They shared what they learned about the Krell. Their patrol schedules, their weapons, their weaknesses. In orbit, the Krell ambassador Zax Thor received disturbing reports. Human resistance was growing stronger, not weaker. Several Krell outposts had gone silent. Others reported equipment failures and mysterious illnesses among troops. "They are adapting too quickly," his second-in-command warned. "This species does not respond as expected." "Send more troops to major population centers," Zax Thor ordered. "We must maintain control." "Our reserves are limited," came the reply. "And the High Command has not approved sending reinforcements yet." Zax Thor's 4 eyes blinked in frustration. The invasion of Earth was supposed to be simple, a show of force, then acceptance. Instead, these humans fought in ways the Krell military doctrine never predicted. Diane Miller, the astronomer who first spotted the invasion, now worked with a resistance cell in Nevada. Using salvaged telescope parts, she maintained observation of Krell ships. "There's a pattern to their movements," she told her group. "The mothership stays in the same orbit. All supply runs connect back to it." "So it's their weak point?" asked a former Air Force pilot. "Could be," Diane said. "If we could somehow get to it." President Garrett had established a mobile command center that moved frequently to avoid detection. When Sam Rivera's research about bacterial weapons reached him, he immediately ordered production to scale up. "We need every resistance cell equipped with this," he told his staff. "And get me in contact with Olivia Peterson. If she can disrupt their communications while we deploy Rivera's weapon." For the first time since the invasion, there was real hope. The Krell had expected an easy victory over a primitive species. Instead, they found themselves facing an enemy that grew more dangerous each day. An enemy that learned, adapted, and refused to surrender. And the Krell were starting to worry. 1 month into the invasion, humanity began to organize in ways the Krell never expected. Old ham radio operators became heroes overnight. Their equipment, considered outdated technology, was now the backbone of human resistance communications. "We've established contact with groups in all 50 states," reported Susan Edwards, a gray-haired radio operator working with Jack Harmon's group. "Europe and Asia are coming online too." Jack nodded, studying a hand-drawn map covered with markings. The Krell monitor digital signals but ignore radio waves. They think it's too primitive to matter. In his underground lab, Sam Rivera had refined his bacterial weapon. He now had a version that spread quickly through air systems. "We've tested it on captured Krell materials," he explained to military leaders via secure radio. "It breaks down their breathing filters within hours, but it won't harm humans or Earth animals." "How do we deliver it?" asked the general. "Their ships need to take in oxygen for their troops," Sam replied. "They have intake systems similar to air conditioning. We target those." Diane Miller had continued her observation of Krell ships from her hidden observatory. She'd mapped their movements and identified patterns no one else noticed. "The mothership has a cycle," she explained to her team. "Every 7 days, it rotates to recharge using solar energy. During that time, its shields are at their weakest." "Can we attack it?" asked a young resistance fighter. "Not directly," Diane said, "but there might be another way. Its navigation systems seem vulnerable during the recharge cycle." Lieutenant Olivia Peterson led a small team on a night mission to a beached Krell scout ship. Her sailors moved silently through the dark, carrying equipment to capture Krell technology. "We need those communication devices intact," she reminded them. "If we can clone their signal patterns, we can create chaos in their fleet." Inside the scout ship, they found more than expected: a complete set of Krell navigation charts and communication codes. "This is better than we hoped," Olivia whispered as they carefully removed the equipment. An unexpected development occurred at Jack Harmon's base. A Krell ship landed nearby, but instead of attacking, a single alien emerged with hands raised in the universal gesture of surrender. "I am Krellvax," the alien said through a translator device. "Officer of Science Division. I wish to speak with your leaders." Jack kept his rifle aimed at the alien. "Why should we trust you?" "Because the Dominion is wrong to attack Earth," Krellvax replied. "Many Krell disagree with this invasion. I bring information that will help you." After careful searching and questioning, Jack allowed Krellvax to speak. The alien revealed critical information about Krell society. "Our leaders did not tell the truth about why we came to Earth," Krellvax explained. "We are not just seeking resources, we are running from something worse." In his mobile command center, President Garrett prepared a message to the world. Using the growing radio network, he would address humanity for the first time since the invasion began. "This is President Alan Garrett." His voice crackled through radios across the globe. "I speak to all humans, regardless of nation or background. We have discovered weaknesses in the Krell invasion force. The time has come to fight back together." He outlined a plan called Operation Thunderstrike, a coordinated global attack on Krell positions using the weaknesses humanity had discovered. "We will hit them simultaneously on all fronts," he continued, "using their own communication frequencies against them, deploying biological agents they cannot resist, and targeting their command structures." As the president spoke, resistance leaders around the world synchronized watches and prepared their forces. Sam Rivera's bacterial weapon was distributed to groups in every major city. Olivia Peterson's team prepared to hack Krell communications. Diane Miller finalized her plan to disrupt the mothership's navigation. Jack Harmon studied the Krell technology that Krellvax had helped them understand. "The Krell made a fundamental mistake," he told his growing resistance army. "They judged us by our technology, not by our spirit." For the first time since the dark ships appeared in the sky, the people of Earth felt united in purpose. Humanity was about to show the Krell exactly what they had underestimated: The turning point had arrived. Operation Thunderstrike began at dawn. Across the globe, resistance fighters moved into position. Years later, people would remember this day as the moment humanity took back their planet. Sam Rivera watched from a hillside as crop-dusting planes flew low over a Krell base. They sprayed his bacterial agent into the air intakes of the alien structures. The planes were old and simple, technology the Krell didn't bother to track or shoot down. "It will take about 6 hours to fully affect their systems," Sam told his team. "Then we move in." In orbit, Diane Miller's plan went into action. During the mothership's recharge cycle, a group of former satellite engineers broadcast specific frequencies toward the massive vessel. The signal matched those used by Krell navigation systems, but contained corrupt data. "Keep broadcasting," Diane ordered as they huddled in their hidden mountain facility. "Their navigation system is accepting our signal." Slowly, the mothership began to drift from its carefully maintained orbit. Smaller Krell ships moved to correct its position, creating confusion in their carefully organized fleet. At sea, Olivia Peterson commanded a small fleet of fishing boats and Coast Guard vessels approaching a Krell water base. Using the communication codes they'd captured, her team broadcast false orders to the Krell ships. "Maintain course," Olivia said calmly as they approached the alien base. "Their ships are moving away, just as we planned." The Krell had received orders to investigate a non-existent human attack elsewhere. As they departed, Olivia's team moved in to plant explosives at key points on the underwater structure. Jack Harmon led the most dangerous mission. With Krellovacs guiding them, his team infiltrated a major Krell command center. The defector knew the guard rotations and security protocols. "Their commanders will be in the central chamber," Krellovacs explained, pointing at a handheld map. "They are not expecting an attack from inside." Jack nodded to his team. "Remember, we want to capture, not kill. We need their command codes." As they moved through the facility, they saw the first signs that Sam's bacterial agent was working. Krell soldiers coughed and struggled to breathe. Their equipment showed signs of deterioration. Across every continent, similar attacks unfolded. Resistance groups targeted Krell bases with surprising coordination. They used simple tactics that bypassed advanced alien defenses: fire to smoke them out, noise to confuse their sensitive hearing, bright lights to blind their four eyes. Ambassador Zaxthor received alarming reports from all sectors. The mothership's navigation was failing. Ground troops were falling ill. Communication systems played human music instead of orders. "How is this possible?" he demanded. "They are a primitive species." His second-in-command skin had turned pale, a sign of illness beginning. "We underestimated them. They adapt faster than any species we've encountered." Zaxthor made a decision: call for reinforcements. The full Dominion fleet must come. But even this command was compromised. Olivia Peterson's team had taken control of the Krell's main communication array. The distress call went nowhere. In Washington, D.C., President Garrett received updates from around the world. Krell forces were in retreat. Their bases were being captured. Their ships were either grounded or flying in confused patterns. "Sir, we've taken control of 7 major Krell facilities," his military advisor reported. "Casualties are minimal on our side." For the first time in weeks, Garrett smiled. The Krell thought technology alone wins wars. They forgot what humans do best: adapt and work together when faced with a common enemy. By nightfall, the tide had turned dramatically. Resistance forces controlled most major Krell bases. The aliens retreated to their remaining ships, struggling to maintain order as their systems failed and their troops fell ill. Jack Harmon's team successfully captured the Krell command center and its high-ranking officers. As Krellovacs translated, Jack questioned the alien commander. "Why did you really come to Earth?" Jack asked. The commander's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. "We needed a defensible position. The Void Collective is coming, and your planet was supposed to be our shield." "The Void Collective?" Jack asked. Krulvax's translator voice trembled. "They are why we fled our home systems. And now, because of your resistance, we cannot stop them from coming here." 3 days after Operation Thunderstrike, the remains of the Krell fleet orbited Earth in disarray. Their ground forces had surrendered or retreated to their ships. Humanity celebrated their unexpected victory. But leaders like Jack Harmon knew the war might not be over. "Tell us everything about the Void Collective," Jack demanded of the captured Krell commander. The alien skin had faded to a pale blue, a sign of stress in their species. "They destroyed our home systems. They consume all resources and move on. We fled ahead of them, seeking refuge. So you decided to take our planet as your shield." Jack's voice was hard. "We needed a defensible position. Your planet has unique properties that might resist them." President Garrett called an emergency meeting with all resistance leaders. Using newly captured Krell communication technology, they connected from around the world. "The Krell captives all tell the same story," Garrett explained to the gathered faces on the screens. "This Void Collective is a greater threat than the Krell ever were." Diane Miller shared her astronomical findings. "I've been studying Krell star charts. There's a dark area of space where stars have gone dark. It's moving toward our solar system." "How long do we have?" someone asked. "Based on their speed, 2 weeks at most," Diane replied. Sam Rivera had been studying the biology of the captured Krell. "Despite everything, the Krell might be right about one thing. Earth has unique biological properties. Our bacteria affected them strongly. Maybe it would affect these Void Collective beings too." In orbit, the situation changed dramatically. Space telescopes detected a massive energy surge at the edge of the solar system. The Krell reinforcements had arrived, a fleet 3 times larger than the invasion force. But they were not alone. Dark shapes moved behind them, ships unlike any seen before. They were irregular, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. "The Void Collective," Krellvax whispered as they watched the images. "They followed us here." The Krell reinforcement fleet engaged the Void Collective ships in battle. Bright flashes lit up the sky as the 2 alien forces clashed. The Krell fought desperately but were clearly outmatched. Ambassador Zaxthor, now a prisoner, requested to speak with President Garrett. His once proud bearing was gone, replaced by something like humility. "Our invasion was wrong," Zaxthor admitted. "But we face a common enemy now. The Void Collective will destroy both our species if we don't work together." Garrett studied the alien carefully. "Why should we trust you after what you've done?" "Because unlike us, they will not offer terms. They do not take prisoners. They consume all life." After careful consideration, Garrett brought the proposal to the global resistance leaders. The debate was heated. "They killed thousands of our people," argued many. "But can we face this new threat alone?" others asked. Olivia Peterson, who had seen both the Krell technology and their weaknesses, spoke up. "We beat the Krell by being unpredictable, by using what they considered primitive technology in ways they didn't expect. Maybe together, we can do the same to this Void Collective." Sam Rivera had been working with Krell scientists who had surrendered. Together, they expanded his bacterial weapon. "The Void Collective ships appear to have biological components," Sam explained, showing microscope images. "Based on our combined knowledge, this enhanced agent might affect their systems too." Jack Harmon and Krellvax developed a joint defense strategy. "We'll need both human creativity and Krell technology," Jack told the military leaders. "Their advanced weapons combined with our unconventional tactics." Diane Miller made a critical discovery while analyzing data from the battle in orbit. The Void Collective ships are avoiding Earth's magnetic field lines. They seem sensitive to our planet's natural magnetism. President Garrett made the difficult decision. "We propose a temporary alliance with the remaining Krell forces against the Void Collective. Earth faces extinction otherwise." The message went out to all resistance groups. After everything humans had suffered at Krell hands, they now faced working alongside their invaders against a greater threat. As the Void Collective destroyed the last of the Krell reinforcement fleet and turned toward Earth, humanity prepared for their greatest challenge yet. The planet that had surprised one alien invasion was about to face another, but this time with unexpected allies. The Void Collective ships entered Earth's orbit 1 week after their battle with the Krell reinforcements. They moved like dark clouds blocking the stars, their irregular shapes unlike anything humans had designed. But Earth was ready. Diane Miller directed the magnetic defense system from her mountain observatory. Her team had deployed hundreds of devices to amplify Earth's natural magnetic field. "Activate the magnets now," she ordered. The machines hummed to life across the planet. Immediately, the Void Collective ships faltered. Their smooth approach became erratic as Earth's strengthened magnetic field disrupted their systems. In orbit, Olivia Peterson commanded a fleet of ships, some human, some Krell. They had worked day and night to combine technologies. Human pilots flew alongside Krell navigators in hybrid vessels, unlike anything either species had used before. "They're within range," Olivia announced over the combined communication system. "Launch the bioweapons." Missiles streaked toward the Void Collective ships. Instead of explosives, they carried Sam Rivera's enhanced bacterial agent, developed by human and Krell scientists working together. On the ground, Jack Harmon and Krellvax coordinated the global defense force. Military personnel from every nation stood ready alongside Krell soldiers who had chosen to fight for Earth. "Their first wave is coming down," Jack warned as dark shapes descended through the atmosphere. "Remember your training. Target their biological components first." The Void Collective forces that landed were unlike the Krell. They moved like living shadows, their bodies seemed to shift and change. But they struggled in Earth's environment. The magnetic fields disoriented them. The bacteria affected their biological components. Still, they were powerful. They absorbed energy weapons and kept advancing. The battle raged across continents as humanity fought for survival. Sam Rivera monitored the biological weapons effects from his laboratory. "It's working, but too slowly," he told President Garrett. "We need something to accelerate the process." Krell scientists suggested a solution, using Earth's weather systems to spread the bacteria more effectively. Cloud seeding planes took off from every available airfield, releasing the agent into storm clouds. Rain carried it down onto Void Collective ships and troops. In space, the combined fleet pushed back against the collected ships. Olivia's tactics confused the alien vessels, sometimes attacking directly with Krell weapons, sometimes using simple maneuvers the aliens couldn't predict. "They're retreating from the magnetic zones," Olivia reported. "Heard them toward the amplified fields." The tide began to turn. On the ground, the Void Collective forces weakened as the bacterial agent ate away at their biological systems. In space, their ships struggled against the magnetic fields and the unpredictable human Krell fleet. After 3 days of battle, the Void Collective began a full retreat. Their remaining ships pulled away from Earth, accelerating toward the outer solar system. Humanity had won again, this time with help from their former enemies. 6 months later, Earth was changed forever. Krell technology had been integrated into human society. The alliance formed in desperation had become something more permanent. Sam Rivera led a new scientific institute where human and alien researchers worked side by side. "We've advanced medicine by decades," he explained to visitors, "and our understanding of biology has completely transformed." Olivia Peterson commanded Earth's first true space fleet, vessels capable of traveling beyond the solar system. "We're establishing outposts on nearby star systems," she announced at the launch ceremony. "Earth will never be caught unprepared again." Jack Harmon established a training academy where humans learned to use Krell technology, while Krell learned human adaptability and creative thinking. "Our strength is in our differences," he told the first graduating class. "Together, we're stronger than either species alone." Diane Miller became Earth's first ambassador to the galactic community. Her skill at understanding alien technology and communication made her the perfect choice. "We've learned that we're not alone in the universe," she said in her acceptance speech. "And now the universe has learned about us." President Garrett addressed the United Nations, now expanded to include Krell representatives. The invasion that was meant to conquer us instead opened the stars to humanity. We faced extinction and found advancement. We met enemies and made allies. He looked at the assembled leaders of Earth. And the galaxy now knows what we've always known about ourselves. Humanity doesn't surrender. We adapt, we overcome, and we emerge stronger than before.